Zane here. Today we're going to be bringing you a hopefully new series that we're going to be calling Zane Tales of Zane. I've been, against my will, pressured from people who shouldn't know. No, Morvar has been talking to me, a few other people have been talking to me, and they've convinced me that we need to probably do some background info on my campaign. A lot of my friends talk about our campaign in these videos of Dice Check. I talk about our stories, so we want to give you guys some background. We're going to be calling it Zane Tales of Zane because, for one, Zane Tales. Two, Zane is the place. And finally, three, it's specifically named this way in case we have more of our tales of this, big tales of this, whatever we need, we can kind of prop on where we need. But sit back, roll initiative, and prepare for Zane Tales of Zane. Sit back and roll initiative because we're about to get into it. So, in my game, which is the world is known as Zane. Zane, as seen here, is pretty rudimentary, almost Pangea. I immediately got this map from Don John and barely finagled with it in my complete inexperience and kind of just rolled with it since. As you can see, this area, hopefully where my hand is, because I'm weathermanning the shit out of this without a green screen, is Kaiser. And Kaiser is where this story mostly takes place. That's why it seems to be more developed. It has actually road markings and whatnot on it. That's why. It's the main area, and that's where our story starts. The party kind of flip-flops around as we're going to go through this, and it's going to take more than one episode, for sure. But it starts off with, I believe, 5 people, ends with 6, and only 2 are original. So we're going to hopefully plop up a giant chart of people I've messed with here. Insert fart noise, go ahead.
Don't tempt me.
And we're going to try and do our best to make sure you guys get as explained and understanding as we can allow. But let's start this off. The story takes place in a tavern. Classic and sometimes boring, yes I know. Please forgive me, I was a noob. But the story starts off with Drake, which is a tiefling ranger, played by Tanner. Soren, which is a wood elf sorcerer, played by Scott. Jack/Jasper, played by Jacob, who you've met, the halfling rogue/bard, and a little different story with that, but that's for another day. And 2 other players that are no longer playing with us by the name of Rizzo and Aziel, as their character names go. These 5 start off in a simple tavern. And being the complete and total obvious murder hobos in training that they are, bar fight ensues. It doesn't take long that the bar fight gets a little too dangerous, so the guards are called in and promptly arrest the adventurers. However, luckily for them, they get a couple persuasion checks and seem to be noticeably useful in the looks of things. They have adventuring gear, they can obviously handle themselves in a fight, some can even cast spells. So they make a deal. They will be pardoned for any crimes and probably actually rewarded if they can do a simple escort. There is a condoned killer being escorted to the town. The town's name, by the way, is Shoreview. As you can probably guess, it's pretty close to water. Shoreview is expecting a pretty big execution to be happening with this serial killer/prisoner by the name of Bloodstained Bill. Bloodstained Bill is being escorted by the Vermilion Knights, a proud temple of Pelor that kind of acts like the universal peacekeepers throughout the kingdom. They don't have an affiliation to any particular group or kingdom besides Pelor, so they're pretty cool. I don't know how to get a good reference for them, but we'll just say they're Master Chief. Bam! They're Spartans. Yeah, no. But they're escorting the mayor, and they want backup, because they have a feeling Bloodstained Bill has some connections that are probably going to be pulled. They agree. They go to where they're supposed to meet up. They meet one of the Vermilion Knights by the name of Null. Pretty redhead, stalwart individual, pretty, classic giant greatsword, the works. They meet up with him, they become friends, and it isn't before long, and an ambush starts. Pretty basic fight. I think it was actually the first life or death fight the players actually experienced, and this is back in a time where none of them had ever played before. So it was kind of fun to watch them kind of flail around helplessly and hope for the best. But they end up getting out, no problems. The prisoner is secured, nobody's really hurt, and they continue on. They make it, in fact, all the way to Shoreview with very little issue. And then some other things happen. As a secondary precaution, the people that work with Bloodstained Bill have kidnapped the guard captain's daughter. And of course, being the awesome father that he is, begs the heroes to help him out. They don't want to give up Bloodstained Bill, but they don't want to also lose innocence. So, the heroes decide they will help. The ransom location is supposed to be a nearby tomb by the name of the Tomb of the Simpleton King. A tomb that has a deep history with Shoreview. The players make their way over, stealthily, and find that it's a pretty tight hostage situation. There are 4 people, 1 hostage, and 2 rooms, one of which they are in. Somehow, and this is the first time the players have ever really impressed me with creativity, they pull it off flawlessly. Sleep spells are used, cantrips are used, there's a bit of a spookiness factor that you use to kind of spook people, kind of Arkham Knight style, kind of spook them in place. And what happens is they basically put the guard to sleep and one at a time just stomp on them until they're dead. Yeah. Creativity and also brute force. It goes off without a hitch. They rescue the daughter, but as they're preparing to leave, a secret door opens. They hear whispers throughout the dungeon as they continue deeper into this hidden area. They come encounter with an ancient tomb that belongs to what appears to be the Simpleton King. His spirit kind of shows up through the tomb and actually possesses a statue for their first boss fight. Animated statue, nothing huge. The players manage to take it down, no problem, and they receive a history thing about the Simpleton King. Shoreview was originally founded by a orc turned good. Now, people typically look down on this orc because at the time orcs were not very friendly, but he proved them wrong, taking the name Simpleton King as a badge of honor, that he has gone against the ways that people view him. They have a pretty fun time with this. They get a few magic items and they return. This is the first real quest, and now they wait for the execution. They meet up in the Center Hall. The mayor gives this grand speech about how Bloodstained Bill will finally be brought to justice. But he's not looking too nervous. In fact, he's kind of giggling to himself. The players get a little closer to make sure nothing goes wrong. The mayor grabs the lever, pulls, the latch opens, and Bloodstained Bill simply does not fall. He is hovering in place, begins laughing as he simply just takes off the noose, and gives his own speech in more Heath Ledger Joker sense. He begins mocking the heroes, the citizens, the mayor, and trying to execute him. Points at the mayor, who suddenly just falls dead. The players know that Bloodstained Bill is not a mage user. They've been given a base understanding of how he works. This is the first time he's ever been shown to do magic. He laughs one more time before he just simply turns invisible or teleports away. Just when the players are trying to figure out what happened, the town runs into attack. It is hit by several ogres and griffins all at the same time somehow. The players spring into action, hoping to save the town. They do. But, being noobs that they are, they decide to loot each creature before going to the next. So, the towns aren't too happy, but they're forgiven because of a few checks and they did save the town. But the players want closure. So they follow where Bloodstained Bill was originally found. The human capital of Kaiser, Vert. One of the 3 major capitals in the entire Kaiser country. This one is very large and they have a lot of ground to cover. So they split up. Some encounter the Mages Guild, Soren and Eisen, join it. Actually, Eisen joining the party right before this, actually. Eisen being another player who is a dragon-born sorcerer. Eisen and Soren join the Mages Guild. Jack meets up, as well as Rizzo meet up with another player by the name of Luck, a half-elf bard. The three of them encounter a few civilians that are fun and entertaining, and they find info. They find out that Bloodstained Bill actually has his own group, and that organizations are happening. The rest of the party meets up with the guards and meets a powerful captain by the name of Thorn Wraithtwin. Through them, the parties reconvene, give out the information they've learned, and plan to take Bloodstained Bill once and for all. They go down to the docks where they think he's held and find an abandoned warehouse. Sure enough, he's in there. They storm the place and try their best to catch him, but he manages to slip through into the sewers. They don't want to give up, so they give chase. They actually encounter a few new creatures down in the sewers, including a gelatinous cube that almost gets the better of them. Then they continue on and find that there is a giant Otiuk in a sewer kind of just center cesspool. This is also where they find Bloodstained Bill, who, once he has noticed that they've chased him, gets a little suspicious. He actually begins throwing a tantrum and a fit right in front of him, saying it's not time yet, he's not ready. The players obviously don't care about this and proceed to attempt to kill him. Well, it doesn't go too well. Bloodstained Bill is extremely fast and hard to touch, and what ends up happening is they fall into the pool with the Otiuk, which they also now have to kill. Jack tries to rodeo the thing, which works to a degree, but not really. They all get covered in actual shit, but they do manage to slay Bloodstained Bill. They continue on. They bring back his head as well as his weapons. They show him to the guard thanks them, and they go about their business until soon they are contacted by the King of Vert, Lord Isaac Kandar. That's where we're going to leave for now. Well, we hope you enjoyed this first series of Zen Tales of Zane, and we'll probably have a couple more in the future. Hope you guys had fun. Have a day by me. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And Morvar, take us home. Bye, guys.